I'm Jen and this is Steve Casera. We're here in our new guest house right next to our current house. We built this space to be sort of a party space, a place where we can hang out with our friends and family, and then also upstairs, a place where we can have long-term guests where they can have their own space to be separate from us, but still together.
From day one, it had to look, the main house and the guest house had been here together forever. That was an important concept.
We wanted the flow of this house and our house to be cohesive. We wanted it to look like it was one property from the start.
One of the things that made that so easy was the Trinity team was there as we were designing this house with the architect. So we had architect and we had builder together. And so as we talked through how we wanted this house to flow and how we wanted to use the house, everyone was there making decisions together, which I think really lended itself to an exceptional product. Trinity's attention to detail was really there with every aspect of the construction, but a couple of the things that required some extra thought and extra planning were, we talked about the wine storage facility, so that was really important that we had every little detail narrowed down there with respect to how that space was going to be cooled and maintained efficiently. The other one is this fireplace unit was quite interesting to figure out, and how do we make sure that we have the aesthetic we want without providing heat to electronics behind there. These things required a lot of going over back and forth, and so I think when you have an initial problem and Jay and Chris sit together and they revise that over and over and over again, it comes down to a product that looks beautiful and is highly functional.
I thought it was crazy that we had to tell them what light fixtures we were going to have in our house before they even started building, but I guess we have this 5-foot diameter chandelier up here 2 stories up, so now it all makes sense why they had to know, because everything fit perfectly.
I came home from work one day and the foundation had just been poured, and Dominic and Jay and Chris were outside, and they had this really unusual, it wasn't a piece of machine, it was just an unusual tripod kind of thing. I'm like, what are you guys doing? Like, oh, there's a drone up there. We sent a signal. After the slab is poured, we now know that we're off by 1/32 of an inch of the entire thing as compared to what was modeled in the computer. And once we had that 1/32 of an inch adjusted, we knew we were good to go.
A few months later, when there were the 3 hurricanes in Sarasota, this house was under construction and nothing happened.
In the modeling process, it was helpful to see how you would flow through the home. And so there were several, one of the little particular thing is that it changed where we put a bathroom. We could see from a sight line that a bathroom was going to be visible from a hallway. And so in that modeling, we could kind of say, okay, well, let's see, if we're walking into a room this way, maybe we restructure things so that we're not walking directly into a bathroom. So little things like that that weren't necessarily appreciated in the architect plans, we were able to see in the modeling so that we could make changes before designs were finalized.
And other things like which way a door would open or where you would put a pocket door, being able to sort of virtually walk through the rooms helped me understand better the flow of the room and how it would be able to function the best.
In the design phase, ideas go wild. Having Jay there brings back the ideas that go wild into ones that can actually be built. To have that present at the design phase was very helpful from a time and efficiency and even finance standpoint. We didn't go through 15 versions of plans that just were impossible to actually execute. While the ideas were big, having Jay there to kind of rein in what could be done and what couldn't be done was very important in the design phase. But ultimately, if we had an idea, architect, builder worked together to figure out how to make that idea work, even though there were little modifications along the way.
I really appreciated how detail-oriented and organized Trinity was from the beginning. Anytime we wanted to make a change, like we wanted to eliminate a window from initial kitchen plans, they would show how much it would cost to change, how much we were already over or under budget, and how that little change would affect the big picture. And they did that every single time we had any possible change in anything.
A phenomenal job with budget and cost. From the very beginning, I think there's sort of 2 ways that building a home goes with builders. One way is the Trinity way, which is every detail, everything up front, no surprises. We know how to build homes. We've been doing this for a long time. We know what it costs. We know your tastes. We know your styles. We know what these things cost. this is the number and we're going to deliver at that or under. That was incredibly appreciative. They nailed it. The other thing that unfortunately sometimes happens is you get promised something for a much less of a price and then goes way beyond that initial lowball kind of budget. So from the very beginning, we had a spreadsheet of 16 pages of every little cost that was going to be involved with this. And we met repetitively throughout the build process to relook at the budget. So if we made a decision that changed and we went on a high side, we could scale back in other areas. So we met with builder every couple months throughout the process to go over the budget and see where we're at and see where we're going and see where costs were projected. Costs changed, material costs change. And looking ahead and making sure that we dial all these things in was super important to deliver the product at the original number.
Trinity is unique because when they gave us the initial budget, it was almost worst case scenario or highest price it'll be. And we've had so many friends build homes where they spent many hundreds of thousands of dollars over budget because the cabinets promised in the budget were the cheapy cabinets and they wanted nice cabinetry. Or Trinity gave us kind of the worst case scenario and we came in under budget and still got all the high-end stuff.
The amount of labor and the amount of time that it takes to do things right is incredible. That was really kind of eye-opening to me, just to see how these details were so carefully taken and how many hands kind of went into the pot, so to say, to make the project perfect.
And along those lines, there was someone working here every single day. Like so many houses in the neighborhood you see, like, oh, nothing has happened for 3 weeks. Here it's like, oh, well, today is this, tomorrow is this, and there were always tons of people working.
And that speaks to the organization as well. You can't have folks here on a day-to-day if you're not organized and if you're not maneuvering chess pieces, because weather affects things. People's schedules get changed. Somebody who was supposed to be here on Monday weren't, so Chris was able to kind of backfill and get other things done, and all of that led to the project being completed on time, which is difficult to do these days.
A couple things that I felt didn't match with my vision are all good surprises. Like the kitchen I thought was gonna be kind of small and it looks very spacious and big. That was a pleasant surprise. The patio and the way the backyard flows is even better than I had thought it would.
The aspect of the planning that really brought it all together was, interestingly, the landscaping. We worked really closely with the landscape team and Jay and Chris, and to bring this whole thing together, we had to kind of meld the two spaces together. And as amazing as a construction job or a finished job, if it didn't kind of fit that initial vision of all tying together, it wasn't going to work. And so the landscaping just was the last key that just pulled everything together. It pulled the flow together, it pulled the space together. Maybe an underlooked thing at the beginning, but in the end became really important to getting this entire project. Before considering building a custom home, I would relay the following advice. Lay out the details up front, lay out the finances up front, lay out the expectations up front, because when all of those things are discussed from the beginning, surprises or failure to meet expectations don't happen along the way. It's also a very long process. It's a process that requires patience in a sense, but also a process that requires a lot of communication. And if you're going to walk into a relationship with a builder for 2 years between the process of planning a home and building a home, make sure that's a comfortable relationship, make sure that's a relationship you want to be involved with every day. We had a lot of fun with our team here building this home, and that happened along the path as long as everyone has the same vision. The end product is one that everyone's just so excited about.
They don't just build and then move on, they build and then they stay.
Trinity is not the right builder for someone trying to flip a house. Trinity is the right builder for someone who wants a home to live in and endure storms and endure families and lives and changes, to celebrate many years in a place. Working with Trinity was a phenomenal experience and resulted in a home that we will make memories in forever.